The night was quiet, too quiet for a neighborhood that usually slept in peace. But inside that small, dimly lit house at the edge of Brooklyn Street, something was wrong. Something that made the air feel heavier, colder, as if danger itself had stepped inside. She stood at the doorway, her voice trembling as she whispered, "Why are you here at my house?" Her name was Elena Ward. 23. A university student who lived alone after her parents moved abroad. Strong on the outside, but carrying storms she never told anyone about. Across from her stood a man she barely recognized. A worn uniform. Tired eyes. A man who looked like life had taken everything from him except his will to keep going. His name was Marcus Hale, the janitor at her university. A single dad. A man who worked night and day just to keep food on the table for his little daughter, Lily. Elena had never exchanged more than a polite greeting with him. So seeing him in her doorway at almost midnight made her skin crawl with fear. Marcus swallowed hard, his voice low but steady. "To keep you alive." For a moment, everything froze. Her breath. Her thoughts. Her heartbeat. None of it made sense. But to understand why he said those words, the story must go back 6 hours. To the moment Elena left the university library. It had been raining non-stop. Students rushing out, pulling jackets over their heads, running toward buses and cars. Elena walked alone, hugging her books to her chest, unaware that someone was watching her from a distance. Someone who had been watching her for days. A man in a dark hood. Slow steps. Eyes that never blinked. Marcus saw him first. He was mopping the hallway floor when he noticed the stranger leaning against a pillar, staring at Elena like she was prey. Marcus felt something twist inside him. A memory he hated. A reminder of what happened to his wife, when no one stepped in to help. He followed quietly, pretending to tidy the corridor, but the man vanished when Elena reached the exit. Marcus shook off the feeling. Maybe he was overthinking. Maybe he was just tired. But then, it got worse. At closing time, he found something chilling near the back entrance. A torn piece of paper. With Elena's class schedule written on it. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. Marcus went to the security office. No guard was there. Just an empty chair and a mug of coffee still steaming. A cold shiver crawled up his spine. That was the moment he made a decision. A decision that would pull him into a night darker than anything he had faced since losing his wife. He clocked out early. Checked on his daughter at home. Then grabbed his old jacket and followed the only instinct he had left. Protect Elena. Even if he didn't know why. Even if he wasn't sure she would believe him. Even if it meant risking his life. Hours later, he stood before her house. The lights inside were flickering. The window was slightly open. The same hooded figure from campus stood in the shadows, watching her door. Marcus stepped forward, heart pounding. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't brave. He was just a father who couldn't let another woman be hurt, not again. He quietly approached Elena's door and knocked. She opened it with confusion and fear tangled in her eyes. "Why are you here at my house?" Marcus took a shaky breath. "To keep you alive." But the danger was closer than she realized. And neither of them knew that the real storm was already inside the house. Elena froze. Her fingers tightened around the doorframe as she stared at Marcus, trying to understand whether he was warning her, or threatening her. Before the story continues, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us share more emotional and powerful stories. And if this moment made your heart race even a little, tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. "Keep me alive? What are you talking about?" she whispered. Marcus didn't step inside. He didn't move. He just kept watching the dark street behind her, scanning every shadow like something could jump out at any second. "Elena, listen to me carefully," he said. "Someone followed you from the university today." She laughed nervously. "This isn't funny." But Marcus wasn't smiling. His voice was steady, protective, the voice of someone who had been afraid for a long time but learned to stand anyway. "I saw him watching you tonight. And an hour ago, I saw him right there, near your window." Elena's breath caught. Her face paled. She stepped back inside, slowly, as if the walls themselves were listening. Marcus finally entered, closing the door behind him. His hands shook slightly, the same hands that had once held his wife's trembling body the night she didn't make it home. He didn't tell Elena that memory. Not yet. But the fear in his eyes wasn't imagination. It was history repeating itself. Elena looked around her small living room, the flickering lights, the half-open window, the curtain swaying slightly even though there was no wind. Marcus, are you sure? I didn't see anyone. That's the problem. He didn't want you to see him. Elena felt her heartbeat crawl into her throat. She tried to speak but her voice cracked. Why? Why would someone follow me? Marcus hesitated. Because you're not the one he wants. The word stabbed the silence. What does that even mean? She asked, confused and scared. Before he could answer, a loud thud echoed from upstairs. Both of them froze. Another thud. Heavier this time. Slow, deliberate, like footsteps. Elena's eyes filled with panic. Her knees weakened. Marcus grabbed her arm gently. Stay behind me. He moved through the hallway carefully, every sense alert. The air felt tight, like the house itself was holding its breath. Elena whispered, should we call the police? Already did. No signal. Someone cut the line outside. Her stomach dropped. The hooded man didn't just follow her. He planned everything. Marcus stepped toward the stairs, but stopped. A faint sound came from the kitchen. A drawer sliding open. Metal clinking softly. Someone was down there. And someone was upstairs. Elena's voice trembled. There are two of them? Marcus nodded. His worst suspicion was confirmed. This isn't random, he said. You were chosen. By who? She whispered. By the same people who came for my wife. Elena stared at him, overwhelmed. You said your wife died in an accident. Marcus inhaled sharply. No. Not an accident. A break-in. And the man who did it, he was never caught. Elena felt cold spread across her skin. Marcus's eyes hardened. And tonight. I saw his face again. Everything inside Elena collapsed. Her breath. Her strength. Her sense of safety. Marcus wasn't just warning her. He was reliving the longest night of his life. A shadow moved at the top of the stairs. Marcus positioned himself in front of her, voice low, steady. Elena, no matter what happens. You run when I tell you. Her voice wavered. What about you? He glanced back at her, and for the first time she saw the truth in his eyes. He wasn't afraid for himself. He was afraid of failing again. I already lost one person I loved, he whispered. I won't lose another. Before Elena could react, a figure stepped into the stairway, slowly, calmly, as if he had all the time in the world. A hood. A mask. A knife glinting under the dim ceiling light. Elena gasped. Marcus lifted his fists. His legs shook. But he didn't move an inch from in front of her. Who are you? Elena cried. The masked man tilted his head. His voice was cold, almost amused. You really don't know? Your father made a lot of enemies. Elena's heart nearly stopped. But the real twist was still hidden in the shadows. Because another voice echoed from the kitchen behind them. Actually, he made me your enemy. Elena turned slowly. A second masked man stepped into the doorway. The house was closing in. And neither she nor Marcus knew that the truth behind her father would destroy everything she believed about her life. The house felt smaller now, shrunken by fear, pressed tight with danger. Elena stood frozen between two masked men, her breath sharp, her thoughts spiraling. Marcus stepped slightly forward, shielding her with his body. Leave her out of this, he said, his voice steady even as his hands trembled. The man at the stairs chuckled. We're not here because of her. We're here because of the choices her father made. Elena felt a sting behind her ribs. My father? He's a businessman. He doesn't hurt people. The second man, the one standing near the kitchen door, shook his head slowly. He didn't hurt us. He destroyed us. Marcus looked at Elena, his expression softening. There's something you need to know, something your father never told you. Elena's legs weakened, but she forced herself to speak. Tell me. Please. Marcus lowered his voice. Your father used to run a foundation. A charity that helped families in trouble. One of those families was mine. Elena blinked. Yours? Marcus nodded, the memory swallowing him for a moment. When my wife was sick, we applied for his support. He approved it, but not everyone agreed. The men in masks exchanged a glance. Marcus continued. Back then, there were people inside the system who wanted your father gone. He exposed fraud, saved families, and ruined criminals who used charity money as a cover. Elena's heart thudded painfully. Are you saying these men are connected to that? Marcus nodded. He got threats. My wife tried to help him gather evidence. And then, she disappeared. The masked man at the stairs spoke, his voice cutting through the air. Your father was warned. He didn't listen. So we took someone close to him. And now we're here to finish what we started. Elena couldn't breathe. My father isn't even in the country. Exactly, the man near the kitchen said softly. Which makes you the perfect message. Marcus stepped forward. Touch her, and you'll regret it. The man at the stairs moved down one step. Brave, for a janitor. Marcus didn't flinch. A janitor raised you criminals while you weren't paying attention. The insult cut deep. The man lunged. Marcus pushed Elena aside just as the first masked man charged forward. But Marcus caught his arm, twisting it hard. The knife clattered onto the floor. Elena gasped, but the second masked man grabbed her from behind. She struggled wildly, her nails scraping his arm. Marcus saw it. His chest tightened with fear. Not again. Not another woman he cared about. He grabbed the fallen knife and hurled it at the man holding Elena. It struck the wall beside his ear, close enough to startle him. Elena took the chance. She elbowed him and slipped away from his grip. Marcus rushed forward. But the first attacker grabbed Marcus from behind, locking his arms. The second man raised a metal rod, swinging toward Marcus's head. Elena froze in horror. Marcus closed his eyes. It's okay. If this saves her. But then. The front door burst open. A flashlight beam cut through the darkness. Police officers stormed inside, shouting commands. Drop your weapons. Hands where we can see them. The masked men tried to run. One reached the back window. But officers tackled him. The other tried the stairs. But slipped, falling hard as two officers pinned him down. Marcus collapsed to his knees, gasping for breath. Elena rushed to him. Marcus, are you hurt? He shook his head slowly, though his body trembled with adrenaline. No. I'm okay. Are you? She nodded, tears gathering in her eyes. Because of you. Police officers handcuffed the intruders, unmasking them. And Elena's heart broke when she saw their faces. Two former employees of her father's charity. Men her father fired for stealing from families like Marcus's. How did they find me? She whispered. One officer answered. Your father gave us your new address yesterday. He suspected danger. He asked us to check in tonight, but we arrived late. Elena covered her mouth in disbelief. He was trying to protect me. Marcus turned to her gently. Your father made enemies because he did the right thing. And tonight. Those choices came for you. Elena looked at him with a mixture of gratitude and awe. Thank you. You didn't even know me, and you saved my life. Marcus's voice softened. I knew enough. You're a good person. And Lily, she needs to grow up seeing that protecting others still matters. Elena smiled through her tears. Can I meet her someday? Marcus nodded, a rare warmth in his eyes. She'll like you. You're strong, even when you're scared. The police took statements. The intruders were taken away. The danger was gone. But something stayed behind. A connection forged in fear, courage, and truth. As dawn began to rise, Elena walked Marcus to the door. He paused before leaving. Tonight, you reminded me that I can still protect someone. I haven't felt that in a long time. Elena touched his arm, gentle and sincere. And you reminded me that heroes don't always wear badges. Sometimes. They carry mops. Marcus laughed softly, shaking his head. Good night, Elena. Good night, Marcus. He stepped out into the quiet morning light, the sky turning soft shades of gold. Elena watched him go, realizing something she hadn't expected. Sometimes the people we overlook are the ones sent to save us. Right people enter your life at the exact moment you need them. Never underestimate quiet souls. Sometimes the greatest protectors are the ones who have already survived their own storms.